appreciate it. All right, Jane Castor. I was born and raised here in Tampa, graduated from Chamberlain High School, and I attended University of Tampa on an athletic scholarship. I've lived in Seminole Heights my entire adult life, where I raised my 2 boys, and I spent 31 years patrolling every inch of this neighborhood, or this city, as a beat cop, working my way up to becoming your chief of police. I'm running for mayor because I believe in Tampa. We have accomplished so much, but we have so much yet to be done. And the areas that I'm going to focus on, first and foremost, is the area that's really not all that exciting. It's the service provision that you get from the city every day. You know, you turn on the faucet and you get clean water. The trash is picked up. The roads are taken care of. The things that all of the wonderful city employees are able to provide to you each and every day seamlessly, the things that you take for granted. Secondly, making sure that our city remains safe. We have one of the safest cities in the United States, and for a city our size, and that was accomplished through a partnership, the police officers working with the citizens to make sure that every single neighborhood was safe. And then lastly, strong fiscal stewardship, paying attention to how the tax dollars are spent. I ran the largest department, 1,300 people in the city of Tampa, with the largest budget, $145 million. A lot of people will talk about their ability to handle a budget, but I would argue that a private company, a budget for a private company where profit is the goal, is a lot different than running a city budget where you have to provide a myriad of efficient and effective services on a very, very finite budget. And I lived through 8 years of the budget cuts at the Tampa Police Department, so I certainly know about that. And then secondly is focusing on our neighborhoods. A lot has been done in the downtown corridor, and you know, today a vibrant and successful city is judged on its downtown core, and so that has already been done, which will give me time to focus more so in the neighborhoods. 3 issues in the neighborhoods, not necessarily in this order, it's interchangeable, you know, as from day to day, really. Transportation, affordable housing, and workforce development. Those are the 3 issues that we need to focus on. As I have said all along, we never lacked for great transportation ideas. What we lacked for was the funding to implement those. And so now that we have the All for Transportation, we'll be able to make some immediate changes, not only in the maintenance of our roadways, where we're going to go from 75 years, we were on a schedule of 75 years to have our roads repaved every 75 years. Can you imagine? And now we're going to 25, which isn't great, but still, that's an incredible difference. And then our bus service goes from 96th in the nation in funding to 40th overnight. So that means we're going to have reliable bus service in neighborhoods that have never had it before. And then there's a lot of ideas along mass transit, and then with biking and pedestrians as well. But transportation is a major issue that impacts every single citizen here in Tampa. And matter of fact, I was impacted this evening as I tried to get here from Tampa. Some serious impact. But as I'm driving over, I'm like, somebody's got to do something about this traffic congestion. I thought, well, that would be me. So that is a huge issue. The next one is affordable housing. We have to start working on affordable housing yesterday, because people are being pushed out of neighborhoods that they grew up in because the price of homes is so far outpacing our wage increases. Wages are stagnant, and the prices of homes continue to increase dramatically. You know that in Tampa, over 60% of our teachers can't afford the median price of a home in Tampa. That has got to change. We've got to provide the affordable housing, and then we've got to look at ways to bridge the gap between what the affordable housing cost is. The definition of the government is $180,000 to $220,000. I don't think anybody in this room would define that as an affordable home. But that's the cost, and then what an actual home buyer can afford, and provide the funding that can bridge those gaps. And I've got a lot of ideas about affordable housing There are some great innovative ideas in the construction, different types of affordable homes, but we need to start that immediately. What defines Tampa as an extraordinary city is our diversity. I mean, that really is the fabric of our city, and we have to make sure that we continue to have that diversity define our city. So it's significant. And lastly is the workforce development. It's very, very important. We have so much development going on here in the city, but we don't have the skilled workforce for that. And there's two things we need to do. One is to provide that training, and secondly is to change the culture that everybody has to attend college. You know, that's just not true. I tell everybody that I'm one of 5 kids, and I tell everybody that I made it to high school before I realized our family was poor, because everybody around me was in the same, the same predicament. And so everybody that I grew up with that's successful is successful through the trades. They're my family's cabinet makers. They still have the same shop at Roman Green that they've had for 40 years. Matter of fact, my dad and my older brother started it, and now my nephew is getting ready to take over the family business. But there is a lot of pride and value in the skills, and we need to make sure that our young folks understand that. So those 3 issues in the neighborhood are all critical and, as I said, interchangeable. And when I become mayor, I'm not going to look at things sequentially. We're going to be working on a myriad of issues all at once. And last is the strong economy here in Tampa, making sure that we diversify so that if we do hit a recession, that it's not going to hit Tampa as hard as it's going to hit some of the other places. And making sure that everybody in Tampa gets to take part in the prosperity and the success that Tampa is going to realize in the future. You see the development that's in place, not only in the downtown core and Water Street, but also in West Tampa, Westshore over here. They have a five-year strategic plan that is just going to change the Westshore Boulevard area. And so there's a lot of changes that are already in progress, Midtown as well, and there's future development to come as well. As I always say, this city's going to change more in the next 10 years than it has in my entire life, and we have one opportunity to create the city that we all want. And it's imperative that we do that we all work together to make sure that we create that city that we all want to live and work in, and that we'll be proud to pass off to the next generation. And I'm not going to be the kind of mayor that's going to chase other cities like Raleigh or Austin or Charlotte. We are Tampa, and the other cities need to come to see Tampa and see how Tampa's doing it, and they can take our best practices back to their city. So I appreciate everyone coming here this evening. I appreciate your time and your interest, and I look forward to being your next mayor. Thank you very much.
Well, we got a new Publix going in right there next in the Sears area.
All right.